Hi, I'm Jim McCutcheon, owner of McCutcheon Music, and on this video in our Choose Your Instrument series, we welcome Andrew Seavert, who teaches drums and percussion here at McCutcheon Music. He has a wealth of information to share with you about these wonderful instruments. Welcome, Andrew.
Hi, my name is Andrew Seavert, and I teach percussion at McCutcheon Music. Percussion is a very general word for an entire family of instruments that you see in front of you here, right? These are just a couple of the instruments that you'll play if you decide to play percussion in your band program. The first one we're going to start with is called the snare drum. Now this drum is probably one of the things you'll play more than anything else if you play percussion. This drum has a series of wire across the bottom of the drum that you can turn on and off using a switch, and what that does is it kind of gives it this like chunky kind of sound to the drum. So I'll go ahead and play that for you on the video real quick. So with the snares on, it kind of gives it this kind of raspy sound to it. That kind of makes it kind of characteristic. If you've ever heard a marching band before or any kind of concert music, you've probably heard a snare drum before in those settings. But if I turn the snares off, I lose that sound entirely. Right? And it just kind of sounds like a drum at that point. When you decide to play percussion also, you won't always be playing on a snare drum like this. If you're practicing at home, this instrument can be very, very loud and strenuous to your ears and also your family members as well. So what you'll get when you play percussion often is a practice pad. This basically just makes the snare drum playing a lot quieter. That way you can practice a lot longer without hurting your ears, and also your family doesn't have to hear a snare drum all day, every day. So I'll play a little bit for you on that so you can hear what that sounds like. It's a lot quieter, and if you turn the snares off, there's not very much sound at all to it. You can even talk over it a little bit, and it's not really too loud. But that's the snare drum. Next we're going to move on to some keyboard instruments. One of the other instruments you'll get in your percussion kit when you start your band program is called a glockenspiel. And that word's kind of hard to say, so a lot of the times you might hear it called a bell kit, or the bells. It's just a very small metallic keyboard. If you've ever played a piano, it's set up the exact same way, but it's very bright sounding and kind of loud. So I'll play a little bit of that for you here today so you can hear what that sounds like. Right. It's a very bright sounding instrument, and it rings for quite a while, but it has this really nice color to it, and a lot of band music, you'll end up playing it quite a bit. Another keyboard instrument I have for you here today to look at is a vibraphone. This is like the bell kit, but a little bit larger, and it has a pedal under it, so you can control the sustain the same way you would on a piano. So I can play it with the pedal up, and it just sounds like a much lower version of the glockenspiel. And that was with the pedal up, so it's very dry sounding. But if I hold the pedal down, all of the notes will kind of ring out over top of each other. And then you can control the dampening with that. So another part of percussion you might have heard before, and hopefully you've seen sometimes, is the drum set, right? So this is like the snare drum, but with a lot more pieces to it, and it's a lot more fun to play, obviously. This is my favorite instrument in percussion. I've been playing drums for about 15 years now. So most of my life I've been playing this. So you can see we still have the snare drum is inside this setup, but there are a lot of other pieces here too. So let's talk about those really quick before I play this for you. So we have our snare drum. It still works the same as before. I still have those wires on the bottom. Our other drums we have here are called toms, and they just sound really low. They're like snare drums, but a lot lower sounding. So those sounds you might have heard before, but those are our three drums right up here. Our lowest drum down here, this is called the bass drum. The bass drum is the one that is the lowest sounding drum, often sometimes called the kick drum, because you play it with a pedal. So when I drop my foot down on it, it strikes the drum. The other parts we have, these are called cymbals. So the cymbals, I have three different ones here. These are my hi-hats. They're also controlled by a pedal, so I can open and close them. So I can make them really dry sounding, or I can open them up and let them be very washy and kind of like rattling around. This right here is called a crash cymbal. You hit it and it makes a sound similar to if you were to say the word. And my last one I have here is the ride cymbal. If you've ever heard any jazz music before, this is one of the more prominent parts of the jazz drum set. But I'll go ahead and play a little bit of this for you here so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. Something more you might have heard before, just a standard rock and roll beat. It goes like this. So you might have heard a sound like that before. Anything in like different world music going along the lines of like Latin. We have stuff that are a lot of different styles you can play on the drum set. Somewhere it's like samba. And there's a lot more different styles you can play, but I don't have that time to play it for you here today. But hopefully that gives you a good sense of a lot of the different percussion instruments that you'll get to learn if you decide to play percussion in your local band program.
Thank you, Andrew. You sure make playing percussion instruments look like a lot of fun. We're so glad that you're teaching here at McCutcheon Music. Here at McCutcheon Music, music education is our central theme. We rent only quality instruments, and we have everything that you need in terms of instruments for your particular school, and we have a repair department to keep them in good shape for you during your rental period. Contact us at the number on your screen, and we look forward to being instrumental in your child's music education. Thank you.